So I got this mouse, live in my apartment, right? Don't pay rent, security, electric, gas, nothing. Just be living in my shit like he owns it. So one day I called up my mother and asked how she managed to expel all the mice in our apartments growing up, and she told me, well, honey, that's simple. You just gotta stop sleeping with them. If you share your bed with a mouse, of course you're gonna confuse it as you offering them a home. And I was like, what? And she was like, son, it's okay. It's me. We share the same heart. And I was like, but I swear, this time was different. Besides, how was I supposed to know my ex would turn out to be eroded anyway? Sure, every time he said he loved me, a whisker would grow out of his top lip, but I just thought it was cute, The way it'll tickle my cheek when he kissed me, I just figured eventually the curl of my tongue will be enough to coax the bottom feeder out of him. Is it so bad expecting your own love to be enough? And she was like, yeah, I hear you, son, but you understand, this is not about love. Nah, this is about an infestation. This is about your home, how not to let a vermin make a meal of it like your father? Yeah. One night, while you were still young, I caught him tucked away in our top kitchen cabinet, chewing a few of the memories we keep hidden in the pot. We keep the flour. He was just up there gnawing on all my silent and alone, all my beautiful and silent before robbed of his tongue. So I just became all black dog and barked the word divorce until he unhinged my Sunday mornings from his teeth. See, if you're not careful, son, a mouse would try to take everything. And I was like, yeah, I hear you, Mom, but you can't expect all that scurrying you feel in your bones at night to stop just because you fixed all the holes in your walls. I mean, I loved him. I was willing to suck the poison out of a snake for him until one night I finally did. He just hovered over me and I just held it in my mouth, and my neck grew gills and my body taught itself new means of breathing. I spent about 5 years down there feasting on that man's ocean floor until one morning I woke up and realized that a fish can never entice the quadruped out of a mammal. The closest I have ever gotten with growing these 2 legs, but I still had trouble keeping up with his footprints when it snowed. Yet here I am, Mom. A year and a half later, and I can still hear him licking the pipes in my walls when I'm taking a shower. When I finally built up enough courage to bring a man I really loved home with me again, I sprinkled poison all around my bed. Figured it would help, to keep him at bay. But he just took my security system as his opportunity for some sort of incantation. He just hid in my radiator and chanted the words, "He can never love you. He can never love you. He can never love you," until sex just felt like a ritual to summon the dead. And my mother just cleared her throat and was like, "Son, remember the summer I sent you to live with your grandmother? Same summer we lost the apartment? Well, while you were gone, I started playing with matches. It started off small, just some leftover clothes, some Valentine's Day cards, but after a while I realized if given it enough heat, just about anything could become flammable, the carpet, the drapes, my heartache. It wasn't long until I found myself across the street from our home, watching it all burn, and I wish you'd just seen all the mice running from the flames. Your father, my first husband, my last boyfriend, my cousin with the virginity he stole from me, still stuck between his teeth, all on fire. And I tell you this to say that you're going about this all wrong, son. You do not focus on stripping the mouse from your home. Nah. You focus on stripping your home from the mouths. So just burn the shit down. You can worry about rebuilding later. This is the most recent poem I've written. Because as of late, it's been hard to write when you have to work, and it's hard to do anything creative when you have to also maintain a life, which is just so fucked up so long. But yeah. So yeah, this is another poem. Today, my coworker has taught me a new word: crepuscular. Before he's even able to tell me what it means, I let it sit in my mouth for a bit. Crepuscular, crepuscular, crepuscular. And I think, typical of me. We only been alone for a few minutes, yet already have something foreign from a white man sitting on top of my tongue, but he just laughs. Uses it in a sentence. Aren't these some beautiful crepuscular rays, Tim? I shrug. Like a black boy with too many letters in his mouth to speak, he tells me, crepuscular rays is that image of when the sun first peeks its way through the clouds. And just like that, I am fed up with language again. Why create a separate word for something we will otherwise just call God? But I stay quiet. Black boy learning how to pick his battles, and language ain't never been a fair fight to begin with, so fuck it. I brought crepuscular home with me, kept it away from my cousins, just like I do all my other white guests. Don't need them scaring it away. My mother asked me what crepuscular means. I tell her it means God. She say that's blasphemous. I say it all depends on what church you go to. And personally, I just got out in university, but she a modest woman. Only use the most necessary parts of her mouth. Ain't got time to fill her throat up with such gold, and I get it. The age-old cliche of a black woman doing what she has to so her kids can live comfortably and rearrange her house with words like crepuscular until she can no longer remember where she left her set of Jet magazines. But shit. What do you really expect? Why else do we strive to keep our teeth white if not to colonize the mouth? Once, I had a friend tell me that I do not use the entire alphabet in my poetry, but hey, look how crepuscular and open up black boy possibility for me. That's the funny thing about language. Just the other day, I thought about killing myself, but didn't. I wonder if there's a word for that too other than God. Maybe I'll just call it crepuscular. Besides, what's the use of a dead black boy if his body ain't filled with enough words for a headline? I mean, was he on his way to college? I mean, did he graduate from high school? I mean, was his last words crepuscular? I mean, those are the only type of black boys when you worry about saving. The kind that can hide the scent of $1 Arizona and hood bacon, egg, and cheese behind the vocabulary. Language ain't never been a fair fight to begin with. Might as well be on the safer side of that gun, that noose, that prison, that history. My mother asked me what crepuscular means. I tell her it means God, because in this country, that's the best way I've been taught to define white supremacy once. This guy named Phil K. wrote a poem about repetition. Said that if you use the same word too many times, it'll begin to lose meaning, but crepuscular, 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 crepuscular is still here. I suppose it's far more difficult to kill the white Jesus than it is to crucify the black one. Language ain't never been a fair fight to begin with. Wow. This last poem is probably the closest poem to my heart. And whenever I give it, every time I say this poem, it's kind of like a gift to the audience. This is a poem that, this is really a poem that you write that is not for anybody. That you don't even deserve this poem. That type of thing. thing to keep me going. So yeah, I like to think of this poem as like a gift that I give. Yeah. It's called Joy Revisited. During a discussion about existentialism, a professor explains to us that all true intellectuals must understand that meaning is always subjective. It is simply a matter of who wins the majority of vote. For example, this is only a hand because enough mouths have spoken it into existence. So, a while back I decided I try to be my own self-determining agent of authenticity. So this is not a hand. Nah. No, this is a hoobaloo. I occasionally pick shit up with it. Here, pass me the ball. Watch me catch it with my hoobaloos. This is meaning for me. It is mine. I made it. I am not asking you for yours. Yet, what does it matter without the majority's approval? For the last few years, I've been attempting to define my own meaning for joy. The dictionary says that joy is a state of happiness or felicity, yet that always felt so limiting. If joy truly only shows up when I am happy, then it does not deserve me. No. I want my definition of joy to be bigger than that. The day I was diagnosed HIV positive, I showered in this world's definition of sorrow. I couldn't speak of joy for months. My family and friends would not allow it. I was supposed to be sad. Every mouth around me spoke it into existence. Tim, you're only 21, Tim. You must only love once, Tim. You must truly hate him. But see, today I am 24. Just as alive as before, only difference is now a college graduate with enough intellect to understand that meaning is always subjective. So I'll tell you what joy is. Joy is a year and a half later after my diagnosis. It is me calling my ex, calling my first love and forgiving him for everything. Joy is me unblocking his phone number. Me listening to hear he has had, to struggles he has been forced to go through. Joy is me no longer being afraid to admit that I still love the man that gave me a terminal illness. And though the majority of you may not approve of this, well, that is okay, because this is joy for me. It is mine. I made it. I made it. I made it, by God. I made it, and I'm not asking you for yours. Thank you so very much.